So here we are, a Silver Lightning update video that you guys are not gonna wanna miss. And I'm first and foremost gonna throw out a thank you right now in the intro because I know not everybody watches right to the end. But to Mr. Hunter Hogan, the individual that I had bought the motor off of, that didn't make it very long past its break-in miles. Things happen, I get it. Man, amazing individual, stand-up guy. And he gave me beyond a gift. So you guys are gonna wanna stay tuned for this one. It took me a little bit to get everything assembled. I got some footage from yesterday, some footage from today. But as you can see sitting here behind me, you guys are not gonna wanna miss the story on how I ended up with this and what the plans are for this guy sitting right here behind me. So stay tuned. There goes the driver, just dropped off the new motor. So there it is sitting on the ground, gonna get it up on the stand, which my old original motor was on. And that's the one thing about loading motors that have been in vehicles. It's like, it doesn't matter how much you think you got all the fluids drained, something always wants to sneak up on you and drip somewhere or leak. But we got the super clean sitting on that, taking care of that. And here's all the stuff we got. So here is the 32 valve. See some snails sitting in the front there. Got a box full of piping here. I haven't even opened the lid up. And then got two more boxes over there. So we're gonna do a little bit of an unveiling here and figure out just what it is that Hunter sent me. I'm gonna play some footage from yesterday that's explaining how I ended up with this 32 valve 5.4 sitting right here. All right, so it's story time, guys. We'll be back here in a minute, unwrapping this, getting it on the motor stand and going through the boxes. First things first, I was originally hoping that the delivery man would show up with my new replacement motor for the Silver Lightning. As you can see, I've got my old, this is actually my original motor. So not the one that I just recently put in that didn't make it past its break-in miles. Well, actually didn't make it just past its break-in miles. This is my OG long block here, and I've actually got a set of Max Pro I-beam rods in this box. You guys are probably wondering, okay, well, what's the deal? Well, the deal is that the guy who built the motor that I had put in, that I just finished my break-in miles, and then I lost compression in cylinder number 4, well, he's a straight up dude. And if you guys remember seeing that video, I didn't even find out until later after I bought this motor off him. Then he started sending me all this crazy information and links to old Mustang magazine articles about him. And I believe he was Green Machine Motors, Green Machine Performance, something like that. Anyways, he always used to put something green on his motors, and that was his claim to fame. And this is the motor here sitting on the ground. And looks nice. It ran nice until, well, I lost compression in number 4. So what did he do? He said, you know what? I'm really sorry. And man, like his bedside manner was absolutely incredible. Like it was, Chris, take a deep breath. I know you're upset. Nobody likes to put in a fresh motor and this happened to them. And he's like, I know. He's like, I know how much of a pain in the ass it is to take, like to do re-and-re's and motors on these trucks. Like it sucks. You know, when I can have a motor out of a Fox body in less than 2 hours, this is like a full day job. Now, maybe it's because I haven't done it as many times as I have in a Fox body, but it just sucks. In reality, it's probably best just to lift the cab off and everything else, but whatever. You make do with what you've got. And that was the situation. So he said, whenever you're ready to investigate or to pull the motor out, you let me know. So a couple months went by. It took me a while, guys, to get motivated to want to even take this thing out. You know, I was so, what's the word, like demotivated and let down that all that work and time went in. I thought I'd have a nice reliable truck. I was finally driving it again. It was on the road after, you know, the buyback and the shipping back from the Middle East and everything else, rolling on my 23s. So it was really unfortunate. I finally built up the energy. I pulled the motor out, called him up. I said, Hunter, listen, man, I got the motor out of the truck. What do you want to do? Do you want me to send it to you? Do you want to rebuild it? And he was going through building a brand new house, and he just didn't have the time. So he said, listen, Chris, I have a twin turbo 32 valve 5.4 out of a Navigator that I built for a special project that he said, honestly, I'm not going to get around to it. So the deal is, he's like, I'll send you this motor and everything that I have for it. He's like, it is plumbed. You're going to have to do some work in terms of the intercooler setup and some piping. You're going to have to upgrade your fuel system, so on and so forth. But he's like, everything from brand new injectors to the thing is freshly rebuilt, it's pre-lubed, the turbos are there, it's ready to go. He said, in exchange, I just want a long block that I can rebuild at my leisure and have it sitting there for one day if I get myself another Lightning. He's like, right now, just because of the part supply, he's like, I could use a set of rods. So I actually had a set of Max Pro I-beams that were sitting in my parts bin for the day that I was potentially going to do a serious build. Well, now I don't need to do a serious build because serious build's already done. So this honestly is like a gift, and I'm so thankful for it. Hunter is such an awesome straight up dude. Like I said, he knew what I was going through. He knew what I felt. And for him to just say, listen, I got this thing sitting in the corner. I'm never going to use it. You know, I don't have the time. I'd rather see this motor be put into something. I want to see it become alive. He's like, I love the way your truck looks. And he had a term actually, tricked out. He's like, I like how you trick out your trucks. So he's like, I'd rather you just take it. So that's where we're at with the Lightning and the motor. And that was really long-winded, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the story. That motor is going to show up over the weekend sometime now, and we'll be going through that and showing you guys what's going to happen with my silver 2000 Lightning. The plan is to get that thing back on the road. I'm most likely going to sell the white one. And as much, again, I've had this video already that having this many vehicles isn't easy, but at least that white truck, it runs, it drives, I use it on a daily basis. It looks great. Actually, I just got fresh ceramic tint. I didn't go too dark on the sides. I actually kind of like the clean, crisp look against the white. So I love the truck. I honestly do. It gets from A to B. I've already put about 1,200 miles on it since I've got it. Fantastic. So here's the motor, it's on the stand, and this one turbo, he had this laying down, and you can see there's some interesting support mock-up that was done here. So this was never installed into a Lightning yet. So this is a 5.4 Lincoln motor, fully built, 32 valve. I don't know how many of these are in Lightnings out there, let alone with two snails on the front. So I don't know if this is going to be the ultimate configuration on what's going to happen. That's to be determined. I've got the intake. I'm supposed to have the intake in one of these boxes. So maybe let's peruse and see what else I got. Box number one here So this looks like all piping stuff. Oh, look at these intercoolers. How cool are those? Okay, so we got 2 of these. That's pretty neat. Got all this piping kit. Got all our couplers, some fittings, so that's pretty neat. Let's go over here. Grab our knife. Let's see what we got over here. All right, so we got 2 mass air meters. It's kind of reminding me of my E39 M5. And then we have this controller. So what this controller does, it actually allows you to plug in both pigtails into each MAF. And this is going to convert the 2 signals into 1. So this way the computer, as far as the computer's concerned, is going to think there's only 1 mass air meter. So my assumption here of what's happening is that it's probably dividing the voltage out here in half somehow, and then combining them to equal 5 volts at wide open throttle. Or maybe it is wiring them up in parallel and then combining the signal. I'm not sure. It's doing something in here, but to ultimately fool the computer, trick the computer into thinking there's only 1, when in reality there's 2. Whew. Yeah, look at that. All right, guys, this is actually quite the sight to see. Oh, it's nice looking. Look at this. Try and get this out of here, see if we can't just set it on the motor. All right, guys, all I can say is wow, how cool does this motor look? I just got the intakes set on top there, and you can see all the injector harnesses here and everything else. And the coolest thing about this setup is that it is wired and ready to plug into the factory Lightning PCM harness. So right up on the firewall, this should be a plug and play. The name of the game here is getting the motor installed as it is without the turbos hooked up and seeing if it'll fire up. Hopefully everything works in terms of the dual mass air meters and any of the wiring differences that have been accommodated for. And if this thing can fire up, then from there, go ahead and deal with all the plumbing, figure out where these turbos are going, and intercoolers, everything else. So this is definitely a little bit more extreme than what we see here on the channel. I don't always have hair dryers and snails on here. I do on occasion. And this is going to be one of those special opportunities to share this with you guys. I know I said potentially I was going to Godzilla swap it, but the reality is I got an offer like this, how could I pass it up? So that's the plan for the Lightning, guys. Hopefully you're as excited as I am, because I might get rid of this red and maybe change up a few little things here and there. I might leave Hunter's famous trademark green on the pulleys, or maybe I'll clean them up. Who knows? We'll see what we do and get that thing stuffed in there. I'd love to have this Lightning running and driving again, and it's going to need a tune. So tuning is going to be the key component into this. I'm not going to be trying to squeeze out every last bit of horsepower out of it. I want reliability. I drive that truck and I'm on 23-inch tires. So between potentially roasting tires and between being slammed and everything else, it's going to be a nice balance of everything and something super cool when you pop the hood. So that's what I'm going for. And I'm going to be leaving my transmission that's in there. It has a JDM shift kit in it, and it's a factory torque converter, so there's nothing fancy, which is probably a recipe for disaster. But again, I want to get everything running, driving, and then from tuning, I'll be able to get a really good idea of what type of stall I need, and then potentially get a built transmission or get this one rebuilt. We'll see what happens in the future. But that is the plan for the 2000 Lightning. I'm glad the motor showed up in time that I can knock this video out for you guys, and hopefully you're as excited as I am. I'm hoping not to waste too much time. I say that now. We always have good intentions, but we'll see how quickly I can start making progress and potentially getting that stuffed into the truck, because man, this thing's even got motor mounts on it. It's unreal. So other than changing the oil filter, which got a little kinked in transit there, cleaning a few things up, you know, blowing things out, doing some gaskets for the intakes, everything's going to be good to go here. As always, thank you guys again for your support, for tuning in, following, subscribing, all that good stuff, and we'll see you here next time on the Infamous Project.